Coming up, we are going to have stories about dinner table disagreements, disagreements over college majors, hiding job offers, birthday gift purchases gone wrong, conflicting work schedules, wearing wedding dresses to other people's weddings, and of course, we have spicy stories, a spicy mother-in-law story, and a cake story. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with a Reddit story for you from AITAH, and it's titled, Am I the Astronaut for Locking My Girlfriend Out of the Basement So I Could Eat in Peace? All right, here we go. I am 39 and male. My girlfriend is 41. We have lived together for a bit over a year in my house. During the time that I have lived with my girlfriend, I've become very used to the fact that she really seems to de-stress by complaining. Much of this complaining is about other people in her life, such as her mother and her former coworkers, but much of this complaining is about me and how I'm not meeting her expectations in one way or another. I'm generally fine listening to her rant and will make all the appropriate motions to show that I'm listening, but a few months back, her complaining increased significantly in frequency. Again, I'm happy to listen to her, but one time that I did not want to listen to complaining is when I'm eating. Breakfast time isn't an issue because she's still asleep when I eat, and lunchtime is fine because I work 6 days a week and I'm out for lunch, but I would really love nothing more than to just have a quiet dinner. It's especially irritating because she gets upset when I don't answer her fast enough. Even when I'm chewing, she'll start saying, hello, 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 are you even listening? As I try to swallow the food quickly and answer her. I'm gonna go ahead and red flag that one for you, sir. I expressed this to her a few months back. I put it as nicely as possible with the excuse that I don't do well with talking during mealtime. If anything, it has had the opposite effect. I'm convinced that she's actually timing her complaints to begin when I start eating dinner now. Could be because you're a captive audience during that time. While I'm making my dinner, she'll be quiet, and when I sit down waiting for it to cool, she'll be quiet. But once the fork reaches my mouth, she'll immediately start complaining. Last Saturday, I told her that I couldn't deal with her complaining during dinner time anymore, and if she did it again, I would start eating elsewhere. She responded, yeah, okay, fine. Then she sat down at the table and stared at me. When I took my first bite, she said, oh, by the way, today you kicked one of my shoes when you were putting yours on. It made me feel like you only care about your own things and not mine. I stood up and went down to the basement to eat, locking the door behind me. Hold up. The complaint was you kicked one of my shoes when you were putting your shoes on, and it made me feel like you only care about your own things and not mine. How dare you kick her unoccupied shoe? Like, how dare you? You should have known that this would be taken personally here, right? I've taken to doing this for every day since, and she'll bang on the door at times. At other times, she has demanded I give her a key as I have the only copy. Why would I give you a key if I'm intentionally locking you out? Today, she was literally crying and begging me to eat dinner at the table, but I said no. Now she's threatening to take the door off its hinges while I'm at work. So now I have to lock it from the outside before going tomorrow. Am I in the wrong here? No. Well, yes and no. No. But she is literally unhinged to the point where she's trying to take the door off the hinges so she can get to you. The door that's like not malfunctioning, you have intentionally locked it to provide some kind of separation, to provide some kind of buffer so that you're not verbally attacked every time a fork reaches your mouth. But also, why the f are you doing this instead of dissolving this relationship? Because this is toxic. This relationship sounds a little bit doomed. What I'm really confused about why you guys are together. My name isn't Abella, says, why can't people just communicate? Everybody sucks here. So the potential ESH for me in this is dealing with it like this instead of just being like, look, either you respect my boundary. And you know what he did? He did create a boundary. And he said, if you can't respect this boundary, I'm going to eat somewhere else. And she said, yeah, okay, fine. And then didn't respect the boundary, so he ate somewhere else. My issue is that eating somewhere else isn't solving the problem, which is evidenced by her willingness to unhinge the door. She clearly needs someone to listen to her. She needs to vent, and being willing to listen to her vent is one thing, having like this is my sacred time, please don't do this during this time. She doesn't respect you. This is the problem. She does not respect you at all. And even after you created boundaries, she stomped all over those too. And you did say it was your house. So again, I ask, why are you guys together? What is happening here? What is happening here? If it is truly the situation that he's talking about here, he's not just NTA. In my book, for following through, and it wouldn't have mattered. Look, if he said, look, I'm just going to go eat at a restaurant instead of eating here because you can't respect this sacred time, would it be different then? Would people who say ESH right now view it differently? He did communicate this. She can't respect the one thing, and it doesn't even matter what it is. If your partner puts up a boundary and says, hey, this time is sacred to me, please don't trample all over it, and then they trample all over it. It doesn't matter what the conditions are. It doesn't matter what the punishment side of that boundary was. The boundary wasn't respected. Now, if you are in some kind of situation where you're not respecting each other's boundaries, that's a different kind of situation. But with what we have to deal with here, I'm in NTA with this guy. You created a boundary and you reinforced it. She stomped all over it. I'm just confused as to, there have to be a lot of things going right with this relationship for him to go down there and continue going down there. This isn't a one-time thing now. It's been happening for a while. This whole week, every day since. I don't know how long it's been that he's been doing this, but this is, there's a problem here, man. There's a problem. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder once again with another AITA story from Reddit for you. This one is titled, Will I Be the Astronaut If I Don't Pay for My Son's College If He Doesn't Major in STEM or Econ? I, 48 male, have always believed that the best way to secure a financially stable future is through a degree in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or economics. That's how I got to where I am today. I grew up in a financially unstable household, but studying software engineering allowed me to break out of that cycle and build a better life for myself and my family, including my son, 17 male. So naturally, I've always assumed I'd pay for his college under the condition that he major in something that would set him up for success, STEM or Econ specifically. But recently, my son keeps insisting that he wants to major in marketing or public relations instead and go into the sports marketing field. He says that STEM and Econ would make him miserable, and I know he's struggled with math and science all throughout school. I've even found him crying over his homework a few times. Time out, Dad. Wait, you know that this topic of study has already made him miserable. It's something he doesn't have he's not naturally drawn toward it. He doesn't have any kind of natural gifts or skills in this area. And you're still like, you will do this. You will be miserable for the rest of your life, but you will be financially comfortable. Yeah, you're an asshole for that. Red flag in here. I get that he finds these subjects difficult, but I really think if he tried a little harder, he could find a field within STEM that works for him. He spends so much time playing basketball with his friends instead of focusing on his studies, and I feel like he's just not putting in the effort. I just want to make sure that he has better opportunities than I did, and I worry that a major like marketing won't give him the same financial security. Pursuing something like software engineering or a related field would ensure he doesn't face the struggles I went through growing up. I've tried to guide him in this direction, even offering to help with his homework or tutoring, but he gets so frustrated at himself and insists that he just can't do it. At the end of the day, I'm willing to pay for his education, but only if it's in a major that I feel will guarantee him a solid future. Otherwise, I don't know if I'm comfortable investing all that money into something I believe won't pay off in the long run. I love my son and just want the best for him, but I also want him to have a secure future, even if that means pushing him a bit out of his comfort zone. Okay, short version here, OP, yes, you are the asshole here. You are an asshole here. We'll get into it a little bit more, but I think first of all, knowing that he doesn't have a natural affinity for these areas and still pushing him in that direction does make you an asshole, because it is essentially you saying, yes, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life. Deal with it. You're going to be able to provide for your family even though you're miserable, and it'll be fine. That does not happiness make, right? Also, looking at the world through this lens of this worked for me, so it will work for you. is extremely narrow-minded, especially when it comes to your kids. You're expecting your child to be a carbon copy of you. You're also expecting the rest of the world to not have changed since you went through with this experiment. And that really pisses me off. Because I'm like, look, buddy, while yes, that worked for you and you were able to have a better situation because of it, which I completely understand. As parents, we always want better for our kids than we had for ourselves. But at what cost? At what cost? And I do not mean monetary cost here. I mean what's happening right now without your realizing it is driving a massive wedge between you and your son. All he's hearing from you right now is, I don't care. You will do this. Even though he's already identified something and he's like, I really want to go into this. I really want to learn this. And guess what? The sports marketing world it's not going away for a long time. It's not. It's not. And I feel like in terms of freedom, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or economics, you know, the majority of jobs that you have within that realm are probably within larger organizations, right? So he's going to be working for somebody else. It's going to be more of a standard kind of 9-to-5 job. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just speculating here, but the marketing side of the world is much more fluid. And I know this because we run a marketing agency. That's our day gig. We're a small agency, but still, it's the world that I have lived for the past, what year is it? 2024, since 08. I've been with this agency. And I can tell you it is a lot more fluid. There's a lot more flexibility. You have a lot more freedom. You have the ability to do something completely different every stinking day and not get bored. There's a lot of benefit to it, a lot. And also, if you don't think economics or mathematics get involved or technology get involved on the marketing side of things, you cray, papa. It does. It certainly does. You can exercise all of those things in here, but maybe he's got more of the creative affinity here. Maybe he wants to get into the design or the the promo development side of things too. Here's I don't know if this is something that happens as you age and grow a little bit wiser, but OP's 48. I'm 42. I feel like you should have this figured out better than me by now, OP. But look, you want better for your children. At what point do you discover that better doesn't mean more money? Better means more happiness. And what is it that makes your child happy? What is it that your kid is naturally passionate about? Those are the things that you should be pushing them to pursue further in their life. Those are the things that you should be like, hey, I know you really love this and you have a passion for it. And honestly, you have a gift for it. Let's see what's out there. I've done some research and check it out. These are some careers that are within this field that you already have a passion and a talent for. Would you like to discover? Would you like to explore these? Is that something you have an interest in? Kid's got an interest in photography. Okay, let's play with the camera. Let's see if it's something you really like. And if it is, and you have the ability to grow from it, I'll facilitate that growth for you. I will not force you in this one specific direction because it worked for me. Okay, OP, you're financially stable and you're able to provide for your family. Are you happy? Truly, are you happy? No regrets. No regrets. United States of America says it's dad's money. He can't put any stipulation on it. He can put any stipulations on it that he wants. Kid doesn't need to take the money. Truth. He can say, I'm not going to go into those fields, so I'll just go my own way. Yeah, he's got the ability to say that and to do that. I have a feeling, OP has pressured this on more than one occasion. He's going to keep pressuring him to go this direction. However, I do feel like OP says OP is looking at it as a bad investment now because he doesn't think the career field is going to pay off. Oh, so the investment that you're going for here is monetary. You are making a monetary investment in something so that he'll have this stable career in the future for what return to you, so that he can take better care of you later on, so that he's just financially comfortable and that doesn't have to be a major concern for him. Does that outweigh a person's happiness? I can tell you at this point in my life, and maybe it's just because I've been through more shit than OP. Maybe that's it. But nothing is more important than my child's happiness. And as we're looking at career paths and I'm trying to help them figure out what they want to do when they grow up, the question is not Like, okay, what jobs pay good right now? What's the stable career? What industries are evolving? What industries are on the decline? That is not the conversation. The conversation is, what makes you happy? What are you passionate about right now? And by and large, it's I don't know. And that's okay not to know. It's okay not to know. If you don't know, experiment. Experiment and try to find that thing that you're passionate about. I think it should originate from passion and not security. As a parent, but I understand that OP is pushing that direction because he came from an unstable environment monetarily. So he had this fear that pushed him in this direction. He has to understand that his child didn't grow up with the same life that he did. And also the world isn't the same world that he grew up in. It's different. Hi there, it's Dusty with another Reddit story for you from AITA. This one is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Buying a Guitar with My Boyfriend's Credit Card? I, 23 female, and my boyfriend, 27 male, I'll call Mark. We have been together for 3 years now, and I decided I wanted to get my boyfriend a gift. Our anniversary is coming up, and I wanted to do something really nice for him. He is a guitarist, and he's been wanting this one particular guitar, a Jackson King V-Series Pro. He talks about it and said that he'd love to own one, so I've always heard that the best gift is something that someone wants but would never get for themselves. I was at the guitar store looking for a gift or something, and then I saw it. It was a Jackson King V-Series Pro. It was not exactly the one he always showed me, but it was close enough. It had the weird part where the string's attached with that little lever thingy and the bottom of the guitar is all spiked. Sorry, I don't know guitars. I knew he wanted it, so I thought I'd surprise him. We are by no means rich, but we live comfortably, so I didn't think he'd mind paying $2,400. Yeah, you didn't just buy a guitar, you bought a $2,400 guitar. It's, yeah, wait, I got that too. Yeah, I see it in chat. Yeah, the greatest gift is something that somebody wants but would never buy for themselves, except for he did buy it himself. And you initiated it, but he did buy it himself. I ended up buying him the guitar. I did use his credit card, which in hindsight, I guess, wasn't a good idea. I guess. I just figured it won't matter since he never makes me pay for anything. I figured it would be an okay gift. I took it out of the case and it came with, and I propped it up in the living room and waited for Mark to get home. When he came in, I hugged and kissed him and told him, Happy anniversary, I got you something special. He went into the living room and just about jumped through the roof with excitement. He instantly started thanking me and telling me about how special this particular guitar was in comparison to the regular King V. And I just said, what can I say? I have good taste. And we talked, and then it happened. How much did you end up paying for this thing? Mark asked, and I nonchalantly answered, it was like $2,500, but I don't think we'll have a problem paying it off. Then he just stared and asked me what I was talking about. I proceeded to explain how I wanted to do something nice, but $2,400 was a bit much up front, so I put it on his credit card, and I figured we'd pay it off together. Mark is not an angry person, but he was more angry than I ever imagined he could be. He just started yelling at me. I know I messed up, but he could at least be a bit grateful that someone cares as much as I do, right? But he ended up bringing it back to the guitar store, but I guess they can't return it because it was on a credit card or something, I don't remember. When he got home, I thought he'd be in a better mood, but he didn't end up coming home until late. And then when he did, he just went straight to bed. This was 2 days ago, and he still hasn't spoken to me. That's the end of the story. And the question was, am I the astronaut for buying a guitar with my boyfriend's credit card? You know what? Yeah, you sure are. You really are. You're not an ASCON 1, though. This is the interesting part. It's a 2. It is a 2 for me. It's a solid number 2 for me. If not, maybe a bit runny. But this person didn't maliciously do this out of some place of evil. They weren't doing something because they were trying to hurt somebody. They're just dumb. There is a brozo element to this, but I think this is where it fits in. She's Delulu, right? The thought that, oh, he's not going to mind if I put $2,500 on his credit card for something that's for him, and he's not going to care because it's for him, then it won't matter. That's delusional. But also, she's 23, and I feel like that has a lot to do with it too. There's some growing up. You learn by making mistakes, right? And she's got a lot of growing up to do there. Instead of, though, holding herself a little bit accountable here and learning from this, she still seems bewildered. And that's concerning to me. She's like, I thought he'd be in a better mood when he got back home after finding out that he couldn't return the guitar that I put $2,500 on his credit card for. Yeah, he has a lot of concerns for that. Number one, he's got to pay it off. He is legally obligated to pay this thing off. You are not. It harms his credit score. It harms his utilization. There's a lot of things that matter here. You don't even know what the percentage interest rate on that credit card was. Hell, it could be astronomical. And now he's got no friggin' choice except for try to sell it to somebody else and pay the thing off as quickly as possible. That's the only option he's got here. And right now he's probably scratching his head and thinking, do I want to deal with this kind of bullshit for the rest of my life? So I would not be surprised if your relationship abruptly ended at the end of this. I know you were trying to do a good thing, but you have to learn here. You have to be willing to learn that you f***ed up, and you f***ed up pretty hard. It is not an ask on one for me because it wasn't intentionally cruel. It was just really dumb. Here it is. Here's the line. I just figured it wouldn't matter since he never makes me pay for anything. That's it. She had no intention of paying this thing off with him. It wouldn't matter because he never makes me pay for anything. Even the gifts that she gives to him? What? Who's going to tell her? Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with another Reddit story for you. This one is one of these. It's spicy! Title of this story is, Am I the Astronaut for Hiding My Girlfriend's Jewelry? I, 32 male, have been with my girlfriend, we'll call her Dawn, 30 female, for just under a year. Some helpful context, she was married at 24, her husband died 2 years ago. Since his passing, she moved to my city, and we are now planning for me to move in with her when my lease is up in the fall. I stay there a minimum of 4 days a week currently. Dawn's late husband passed in a work-related accident. 2 others also passed and a few more were injured. From what I understand, it took her some time to heal, understandably. She met a few other people for dates before me, but I'm the only one she connected with over time. Part of her healing has been a form of downsizing. She still has photos with him online and a lot of physical photo albums, but the only major things on display are a stuffed animal he got her which sits on her headboard and a little display on her fireplace mantle, one of those digital photo frames, a 3-fold frame with a photo from his proposal, hidden photographer, a photo from their engagement shoot, and a wedding photo. His ashes, their wedding rings, and his engagement ring. She still has her engagement ring and wears it on a chain. Dawn has always loved the Harvest Moon series and had always wanted her engagement ring to incorporate a blue feather, which is what you used to propose in the game. Her late husband customized a beautiful ring with a sapphire feather on it, and his engagement ring also had one. I was mostly fine with her wearing it until I started attending work-related events with her. Her job is somewhat political and has a lot of networking events. Her friends know why the ring is important, and mine learned over time. But almost every networking event, someone asks about it, and she always tells them it was the engagement ring from her late husband. It made me uneasy to hear it so often, but I was fine until I wasn't. I didn't mind people knowing she was married before, but I guess every time people asked her about it, it made me feel like I was her second choice. I asked her to stop wearing it, as seeing it and hearing about it was starting to get to me, and was a constant reminder that in her ideal life, he would still be here and she wouldn't even know me. We compromised. She would still wear it out except for events where people didn't know the story and were likely to ask. Fast forward to last week, we had an event with a blue color scheme and she had a beautiful blue dress. Normally she wears a bracelet, earrings, and necklace, but this time she had just a bracelet and earrings, so I asked why before we left. She didn't have any other necklaces that went with the earrings, so I told her to wear the engagement one if she wanted. Sure enough, someone not only asked about the ring, but continued the conversation, whereas normally the subject changes once they find out her husband passed away. The person asked what kind of ring Dawn would want if she remarried, and she said she wasn't sure. Whatever I thought suited her as long as the band was silver. I felt my stomach drop. It hurt to know her old ring had such a special meaning and was something she always wanted, but now it didn't matter to her at all. The next morning I confronted her and she told me in the newer games there's a special flower to propose and I could incorporate that, but I felt like she was appeasing me. I'm not sure what came over me, but when Dawn was in the shower that afternoon, I took the ring from the sink. She's normally very careful with it, keeping it in the box on the mantle when she isn't wearing it, and on the edge of the sink when she showers. She always keeps the plug in the sink in case her cat knocks it into the sink. The door had been open about halfway and the shower was foggy. I'm certain she didn't see me reach in or unplug the sink. After she dried off, she went to grab the chain and immediately freaked out. I feigned helping her look for it and told her it would probably turn up. The next day before work, she looked exhausted and told me she got up early to look for it, but she was a mess, and I'm not sure she slept. We both went to work. When I got home, the place was spotless and she was crying. She came home from work sick, and she does have an anxiety disorder, and in retrospect, probably felt physically ill at work, flipped the place upside down, cleaning, vacuuming, and then going through the container, and even snaking the drain. My intention was to give her the chain back that night and pretend I found it somewhere in hopes that it would get her to leave the ring on the mantle, but there was no way I could pretend it was anywhere, not the way she searched. So I took it out of my wallet and fessed up. She was inconsolable and told me to go home. I tried texting and calling all week and she told me she needed space. Last weekend, I went to a barbecue at her friend's, my friend's originally, and she was supposed to attend with me. She did text me that morning and told me to tell people that I was sick, but they noticed my demeanor eventually, and I told them the story. Results were mixed. I'd say about half of our friends took her side very quickly. One guy did say I set a boundary and she should have known that I didn't really mean it when I said she could wear it. And a second friend agreed, but said that it wasn't her fault someone asked her about it. A third friend also agreed with the other two, but his girlfriend pointed out that I expressed that it was okay and that if I didn't mean it, I shouldn't have said it. The rest of the group is kind of on the fence, saying that my hiding it was going too far and that I could have lost it. The general consensus is that I should have reestablished the boundary after the event, but that hiding it was going too far. I see what they mean, but still think that I made a good point. At any point, the chain could break, be stolen on vacation, accidentally come unclasped, etc. And if that ring was so important, it should stay home with the others. I also want to note that I don't mind the small mantle tribute, and we discussed in the past that it can stay up when I move in. It's not the memories I don't like, it's this specific ring when she wears it. The ring doesn't get lost, eaten by the cat, or damaged, and I think my point was made. So, am I the asshole here? Regardless of if you think I'm the asshole or not, can you please recommend any ways that I can fix this? I love Dawn and very much want to propose after I officially move in. She answered a text today, but it was very short and distant. I don't want to lose her. I think it might be too late, but you know what? Let's get some feedback from the one, the only, the spicy in her very own special kind of candy way, Candy Thunder. Come on, Tater. You get that spicy tater today. I'm going to try this too. You get spicy tater.
Oh, I'm like a hot tamale.
You are
That's
a hot tamale.
The kind of candy. Well, I think that this guy's insecurity ruined his relationship. I think that if you are dating someone that has lost their partner, you are taking on that grief as well, and you have to move through that relationship at the pace that they want to move through that relationship, not at what you think it should be. And if Dawn wanted to wear this ring because it made her feel closer to the person that she lost, then what the is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? It's like the only thing that is wrong is this guy's insecurity. In my opinion, I think this guy needs to grow up.
Yep, this is insecurity. And Sophia saw your comment, says as a widow, she needs to be done. I agree with that. This is insecurity, and it's going to pop up one item at a time. That's the shitty part.
Right.
He's not even moved in yet, and he already has an issue with this specific ring, and it's this specific ring because that ring is a trigger for conversation. So he doesn't like hearing about it. He doesn't like feeling like if this guy were still alive, her ex, that they wouldn't be together because she wouldn't even know he existed. Well, guess what, buddy? That's the truth.
Right. She was married. She chose to marry this man, and he was taken from her, like not by her choice. And so of course she's still mourning the loss of it. I can't imagine. I mean, love doesn't end just because somebody passes away. That's never going to go away. And in my opinion, if something were to happen to Dusty, I would never stop loving him. Even if I did choose to move on, I probably wouldn't, but I
will haunt your ass so hard.
The love is never going to go away. Like that love that you feel for a person is never going to die.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps them with you as you move through the rest of your life. But to try to take that away from somebody just because you love them, I mean, that's just an epic fail. An epic fail of not handling your insecurities. And insecurities can just damage a relationship beyond repair. And he says he wants to fix this. The only way that you could fix this is to get help yourself, because this is a you problem. Yep. The whole thing is a you problem. You went to taking someone that you love. You took one of her most loved possessions to prove a point. Use your words, dude. talk this out. Talk to the woman that you love. Don't take her things and pretend that she lost that. That's nasty.
Gross.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, it's just gross.
I do think that I agree with you. The only way that he can olive branch this and say, hey, I want to fix this. I want to mend our relationship. I do want to be together, is to, number one, give a genuine apology. Mm-hmm. And number two, show her the scheduled appointment for your first therapy session. Like, it doesn't need to be, it needs to be, here's what I've already committed to do. Because words are going to be empty at this point. It needs to be action. You have to show her through action. She's not going to believe anything else.
Right.
Also, because if, losing your life partner isn't enough, like, moving on, I'm sure, is difficult enough in its own right. Having to deal with the insecurities of everyone else as you're trying to date and potentially find another person again, like, my gosh, it's just. And
your own insecurities caused you to become a toxic partner.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, stealing stuff and pretending that they lost it, I mean, that's toxic behavior. That's not something that I would want to be in a relationship with.
No.
And you self-sabotaged your own relationship in order to prove a point to the person that you love. And I think that's what you need to repeat to yourself as you pick up the phone and find somebody to be your therapist.
Yeah. So also, as you closed this out.
And Julie says, loving someone who will always love someone else takes a strong partner. Abso-freaking-lutely. And if your insecurity is to this point, you're not the partner for them, because you can't be strong enough to handle the burden of the grief that they're going to carry for the rest of their life.
I think you would have to mentally prepare yourself to say, like, I am not this person's first choice. Mm-mm. Like, I'm this person's first choice for this chapter in their life.
There you go.
But I'm not their first love. You're not going to be a lot of things that would be first choice or first in that, and you have to be comfortable with that. It would take a very secure person to be able to thrive in that kind of relationship. And a very secure person would have to, like, not only just for themselves, but to also give the widower the security to know and thrive in that as well. It is this comment here where Brozo says, the ring didn't get lost, eaten by the cat, or damaged, and I think my point was made.
Yeah.
I think you're wrong. I don't think your point was made at all. I'm giving you Brozo here, and are we in agreement on this?
Yeah.
All right, we're going for it. We're going to ask on one.
I think your point was to show that you're so insecure that you can't handle this relationship.
That point was made.
Bravo, sir.
Very
good.
Yeah.
Very good job. Well done.
Yeah, I see so many of you that go through or are going through this kind of thing, and I feel for you. I
know. And thank you for calling this guy out. Even going through what you have gone through, you can see that this is not okay. So thank you for speaking up.
Yeah. Hey there, it's Dusty Thunder with yet another Reddit story for you. This one from AITA is titled, Am I the Astronaut for Not Telling My Girlfriend That a Recruiter Called and Said She Had a Job Offer? What is it with these insecure brozos trying to sabotage their partners' lives? My girlfriend, 25 female, was laid off a couple of months ago and has been job searching. She worked for a major company, which almost everyone has heard of, and got an extremely generous severance package, so she is not under any financial stress. She hasn't had any luck so far, but she only did like 4 complete interview processes, but it has not been long. She applied to this other large company, not as well known by the general public, but extremely known by people in the industry. We share a burner phone that we use whenever we don't want to give out our phone numbers, and she doesn't always carry it with her. While she was out cycling, she left it at home and I picked up. It was someone claiming to be a recruiter from the company, and I said she wasn't in, but the recruiter said she got the job and it is good news. I said I'll pass the message and tell her to email her back, except I didn't actually do this. It could have been a spam call since a recruiter wouldn't actually share candidate information to someone else. I don't know about the validity of that. Additionally, I had advised my girlfriend against this job because I trade stocks as a side hustle, and her working there would prevent me from easily buying more shares of the company anytime I am highly interested in buying more soon. Oh, so it's even worse. It's for selfish reasons you advised her against this job. Wow. Days passed and the recruiter emailed her and asked why she hadn't called back. She called back and got the offer and against my wishes accepted it. Well, you're just lucky that they still extended that offer to her. Now she is mad at me for not telling her about what could have been a spam call. I didn't delete the call history or anything, so she should have checked it herself. Am I the astronaut here? Top comment. Yeah, you're the astronaut. Let's break down why. It could have been a spam call since the recruiter wouldn't usually share candidate information to someone else, okay? And even if you were right and it was spam, you don't have the right to keep that information from her. Your girlfriend is at least as capable of determining spam as you are. There's no reason not to share the information with her. If you were concerned, you could say, hey, a recruiter called and said XYZ, but I just think it's spam. Then, armed with that information and your advice, she could make the decision for herself whether or not she wanted to investigate the call further. But instead of treating her like an adult capable of making her own decisions, you made the decision for her without even asking. It's pretty straightforward. Either you trust your girlfriend enough to make her own decisions, in which case you have a responsibility to give her all the information you're aware of that might affect her decision, or you don't trust her, in which case you shouldn't be in a relationship with someone that you don't trust. Additionally, I have advised my girlfriend against this job because I trade stocks as a side hustle and her working there would prevent me from easily buying more shares of the company anytime, and I am highly interested in buying more soon. Setting aside the dubious nature of reading stocks as a side hustle, let's call this what it is. You sabotaged your girlfriend's potential career for your own personal benefit. You denied your girlfriend the opportunity to make a decision about where she might want to work because there was a chance it would deny you profit in the future. She called back and got the offer and against my wishes accepted it. Your wishes don't enter into it. It's her job and her career. You're in a relationship, so you can have a conversation about it if there's something you're legitimately concerned about. But for the record, I want to invest stocks isn't a legitimate concern. Go invest stocks somewhere else. I suspect that if the situation were reversed, you wouldn't feel this way about it. If your girlfriend asked you to quit your job so that she could invest stocks in your company, would you do it? Or would you go against her wishes and keep your job? Also, looks like you were wrong. It wasn't spam or a scam, which just proves that you were wrong to keep the information from her in the first place. Did you apologize when it came out that you were wrong? Did you say, it wasn't spam after all, I'm sorry for not letting you decide for yourself? Or did you just sweep your own wrongdoing under the rug? I didn't delete the call history or anything, so she could have checked it herself. That's a cop-out and you know it. You answered the call and took the message and then deliberately lied and said you would pass the message along. You acted selfishly and without respect. You need to get your head on straight and apologize to your girlfriend and hope that she's willing to give you a chance to stop acting like a scumbag. I hope that she doesn't give this brozo a second chance. No. Because not only did he withhold information from her about her future for his own personal gain, but then when he got busted for it, he still didn't come clean about it. He didn't take ownership of it. There was no accountability there at all. It was, she could have checked the phone herself too. I didn't delete the call. You quit trying to minimize your evil actions here, you dick. You did it all for your own personal gain because it was something that you didn't want her to do. You're not even married. Not that that would change like your ability to dissuade her from choosing to do this, but you're not even married. Wow, talk about a level of control. Maybe she doesn't want to live underneath your thumb. Have you ever thought about that? I hope she doesn't give you a second chance because you don't deserve it. You made a selfish, really selfish choice here and put money over your girlfriend's happiness for the rest of her life. And then you were the ultimate coward about it. Didn't even own it, and you were like, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. I thought it might be spam, but more than anything, I didn't want you to work at that place. So those two things, maybe just sweep it under the rug and choose myself. Sorry, I don't know why I did it. It was a dick thing to do. I would have at least more respect for you then. Right now, you have 0 respect points. You have an ASCON level of 1. You're a brozo, and on top of that, you have been rejected from the DFHB club. So you're pretty terrible, and I hope she leaves your ass. That's it. Hey there, it's Dusty with another AITA story for you. This one is, am I the astronaut for telling my wife to take time off work if she wants time for herself? My wife, 40 female, and I, 39 male, have been married for 12 years and have 2 kids, 9 and 7. We both work full time, but I got a promotion about 3 months ago that required a change to my work hours. I used to have the same standard Monday through Friday hours as my wife, but my new role has me working 10-hour shifts Thursday through Sunday. This promotion came with a pretty substantial pay raise as well. My wife and I discussed how my change in hours would affect our family's day-to-day lives, but we both agreed it would be worth it for the additional income. I use my time off Monday through Wednesday to do pretty much all of the family shopping, errands, cleaning, laundry, and have been able to make substantial progress on some long put-off home projects. I also cook dinners and prep weekly lunches for the kids and my wife. Hold up. This ain't going the way I thought it was going. The additional income is becoming noticeable, as well as we haven't had this much in our savings account in years. A few weeks ago, my wife started griping about my new job. She hates that I'm working all weekend because that means she's with the kids the whole time. She complains that she goes from working all week to solo parenting on weekends. Both of our kids are in activities on weekends, so she has been doing that by herself as well. We talked about ways to ease some of the weekend stuff from her, such as getting a babysitter, carpooling to kids' activities, taking the kids to their grandparents, etc. But she still complains that all of the legwork for these things will be done by her because I'm at work. She said she feels like she never has any time for herself since my hours got changed. To try and alleviate this, I suggested that she make plans with friends to do something on Monday or Tuesday nights. She tried, but got frustrated when her friends were busy those nights and wanted to get together on weekends. This led to another argument with her telling me that she hates my new job and then I need to look into changing my hours again. I told her that I've been trying everything to help ease the transition with my new job, but all I've been met with is hostility and frustration. I asked her if there was anything more I could do other than change my hours, and she told me no. She said she just hates that she doesn't get a break and that I have 3 days to myself. I started listing off all the ways I've been trying to make this easier and how much more money we were making, and she cut me off and said the money isn't worth it. I got frustrated and told her if she needs time for herself, she should just use vacation time from work if she's not going to be reasonable and help me find a compromise. She got even more mad and told me I'm being an asshole. She made me sleep in the guest room and told me that I can't come back to our bed unless I fix this. We were way wrong. We were way wrong. Way. Hold up. Way. Okay, first of all, they talked about this before they agreed to take this on. They talked about it. So they had an agreement going into it. And also this guy's going above and beyond to try to make this as easy as possible. And I think the funniest part about this, not that I don't understand where she's coming from. Yeah, I'm sure having to do all the weekend stuff as opposed to weekday stuff, I'm sure it's very, very difficult. However, her reasoning here is she's pissed off because she doesn't have any time to herself. It wasn't about them needing more couple time together. It wasn't about quality time. It was about her needing her time. And I mean, what are you supposed to do? I would say if you guys made an agreement about this, it is, if this is the only problem, that she needs more her time for herself, I would start looking at different solutions to that. So is there a weekend sitter that you guys can get? You've got more money now. You could afford a weekend sitter for one night on the weekend so that she can go do things with friends when they are available. Is that possible? There are some possible compromises that can happen there that aren't what you listed here, OP. So I think my request to you here is that it is not a, there's these couple things that are options or it's nothing. Of course, she's in a negative mind space or headspace because she feels a little run over by everything here. But you're doing everything you can, literally doing everything that you can. I would say just stay open-minded and be looking for solutions. Just because you don't have a solution right now doesn't mean you're not going to come up with one. So if you both stay solution-focused, I say both. You're the only one who is right now. She's not solution-focused. She's telling you to fix it. Her happiness is not your job, first of all. Let's get that out of the way. Her happiness is not your job. If there's something she's unhappy with, it is on her to take some action to actually focus on a solution here. And if she's not willing to do that at all, it's a her problem, except for it's going to become your problem and everybody's problem. But stay open-minded to different kinds of solutions here. But hell no, you are not the astronaut for telling your wife to take time off work if she wants time for herself. It was the most reasonable thing in this whole story. But also, I think, you know, a sitter that is on a weekend night so she can do things with her friends makes perfect sense as well. So there are other options out there. You're doing everything you can. Just stay open-minded. Don't let her negativity drive you into the ground. You're solution focused right now. Don't let the frustration with beating your head against a brick wall trying to talk to her right now deter you from that. Stay solution focused and you will eventually find something there. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a follower-submitted story. Let's dive into it. Wait, it's even better. It's a follower-submitted cake story. Oh yeah. Title of this one is Am I the Astronaut for Shoving Cake in My Wife's Face? Hey, Dusty, Candy, and crew. I think that I am probably the asshole here, but I thought I would ask you and find out where exactly on the Ascon scale I rank. Well, I appreciate the candor. I, 26 male, married my wife, Kay, 24 female, this weekend. We have been together since our freshman year of college and are very much in love. And I had been planning every aspect of our wedding for over a year, and it was beautiful. Two of her big focuses and big expenses were her dress and her hair and makeup. She takes a lot of pride in her appearance and always makes sure her makeup is flawless. I love her with or without makeup, and I always tell her that she doesn't need any of it to look beautiful. When we were discussing the wedding events, we started talking about some of the traditional wedding events like cutting of the cake. She only had one rule: do not shove cake in her face and ruin her makeup, and don't get cake on her dress. Got it. The wedding went off without a hitch, and it was great. I'll admit, the cocktail hour before the wedding might have gotten a little out of hand, and I was feeling pretty good by the time we got to the reception. By the time we went to cut the cake, I might have been fairly drunk. We were cutting the cake, taking photos. She fed me cake. I fed her a small piece. All was fine. Then some of my college buddies started egging me on, saying, "Smash the cake! Smash the cake!" So I took a big frosting-filled piece and shoved it all over my wife's face. Rut-row, Raggy. Like, oh no, Scoob, like you've really f***ed up now. She let out a shocked yell, but held it together relatively well in front of the guests. I knew immediately that I f***ed up. Not only did I smash it all over her face, but it fell onto her dress and got frosting all over it. And in case you were wondering, the color of the frosting was red. She quickly went off with her maid of honor and a couple of bridesmaids to the bathroom to get cleaned up. My buddies were all telling me how funny it was, but I knew I was in trouble. She came back from the bathroom and put on a smile for the rest of the reception, but didn't talk to me at all. Once it was over, we went up to our room and she gave me quite the tongue lashing, and not in the good way. That was in the document. I didn't say and not in the good way. That's in the doc. That was OP. I mean, I would have said it if they didn't say it, but still, they beat me to the punch. The tongue punch. They beat me to the tongue punch. She was berating me and screaming at me for ruining her makeup, getting red frosting all over her dress, and how she couldn't believe I broke her one wedding rule. She kicked me out of the room, and I had to go stay the night in my best man's room. She's hardly talked to me since and won't even listen to me when I apologize. I brought her flowers every day, cooked dinners, and I even took her dress to the cleaners and got the frosting taken care of, and nothing is getting through. I know I'm the asshole here, but am I on a one-way ticket to ASCON 1? How can I fix this or make it up to her? Help me out, Dusty. Oh, boy. You know, at least you acknowledge that you fudged up real hard. And yes, you are on a one-way ticket to ASCON 1. It was a real, you know what? I actually don't think it's a 1. You didn't do this with malicious intent. Your jabroni bronies egged you on to do it, but you broke the one rule. So it's it's an ASCON 1. I don't think it's a one-way ticket. It is an ASCON 1. I will give you this. It is an ASCON 1. I do think it's something that you can come back from. Look, like, marriage is hard, right? And I think one of the most important lessons that you learn in marriage, especially during year 1, is that your partner isn't perfect. Except for me, mine is. But everybody else, the rest of the world, your partner's not perfect. So you have to learn that. And in this case, if you had done it and not apologized for it and not tried to grovel and make up for it, then that would be one thing. The fact that you are doing all those things and you knew you screwed up, you ought to be pissed at your bronies here. And I would talk to them and be like, hey, I need you all to help me out getting out of trouble, because you all certainly had a hand in getting me in trouble. And yes, it's your fault, because you should have been like, no, and known better. But you went frat party mode and decided to go through with it anyway. So I would enlist their help. You've got to keep it up. Keep it up. Keep freaking just groveling and doing what you can to get back in her good graces. I feel like eventually she might forgive you, but it was the one rule, right? So now there's a trust. Trust has been broken. You spent your wedding night apart because of it. So it's just a matter of how much pain is she willing to dish out for this punishment. As long as you stay focused on fixing things, I think you'll end up being okay in the long run. It was a huge F up, but you know that it was a huge F up. Do not give up on fixing this. I don't know if this is a test and it is one of those like, I'm going to see if he gives up, or I'm going to see if he stays focused on fixing this. And it's just a game of how long this takes. It could be a David Rose kind of situation here, where if you start delivering daily gifts, it's a matter of she really likes receiving the gifts, and then it's a matter of she's forgiven you a week ago, but you're delivering gifts, so she's gonna keep getting the gifts there. Stay solution focused. Do not give up. This is not a one-way ticket. You can come back from this. You can. Excuse. Don't is a complete sentence. Agreed. Oh, you know what? But the fact that she has not filed for an annulment already, the fact that she has not initiated a divorce already, means that there is some coming back from this. And if there's not, there's not, and there's nothing that he can do. But if the goal is to save this, then do not give up on trying to save this. You understand the magnitude of the F up here. So the magnitude of your making up for it needs to be at least double. But do not be surprised if this ends up getting annulled and you've just completely nuked your entire brand new marriage. Don't be surprised. Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.